What's up everyone? My name is Mo and I'm the founder of Time Off Audio. I've released DimeMS. Instead of separating your audio into transient and tonal components, it splits it into its mid and side components of the stereo image. So if we open up the UI, it will look very familiar. You have your plugin slots for the mid and the side. One main difference is the waveform display is different. It's vertically scrolling and it will show you the width of the mid and side sections. So if we hear it here on this vocal.
I feel like I'm flying now. You touch my hair, you make it so delicate.
You can solo the mid and the side, just like we could in DimeTT. So here the side signal is just slightly present because it's a vocal and vocals tend to be mono. I mean, this file here is mono in this case. I've stereoized it just a touch before processing it through DimeMS, which is why the amplitude of the side signal is so small. This gives us some very interesting processing capabilities for vocals. Let's say you want to put reverb or delay without drowning out the main focus and the attack in the middle. You can apply that just to the side of the stereo stage, which means that front and center you maintain all the punchiness of the vocal and don't lose any of that to the reverb, which is exactly what I've done in this example. I've actually even enhanced the punchiness of the vocal in the middle because we get a dedicated plugin effects chain for that. So the mid here has gone through very subtle bit of transient shaper by kilohertz. And my Valhalla vintage verb here will process the sides only in full width. So if we hear a before and after really quickly. And by the way, you won't be able to hear any of this, without proper headphones or like speakers. You need a stereo stage to be able to hear this. So let's hear it before.
I feel like I'm flying now.
And after.
You touch my hair, you make it so delicate.
So yeah, the reverb is very much there, but rather than applying the reverb to the vocal, we're applying it to the space where the vocal lives. So it's a pretty cool trick. Another use case where mid-side processing shines, and DimeMS does by extension, is mastering. You could use it as a mid-side EQ where you can equalize the center and the side sections of the stereo stage differently. Now, this is something that Pro Q4 lets you do. For example, you could select which bands apply to the side and which bands apply to the mid. But this takes that concept and, opens it completely, where you could process with any EQ you like. You could put compression on top, crazy creative effects, and what have you. Maybe not crazy effects on your master though, but in this case, I'm applying Gullfoss on the mid, which is a dynamic EQ. So I'm adding a touch of taming and also recover. I'm using it in this hybrid mode here. And I've applied SciQ, which is an analog emulation of a vintage EQ. So this is not a surgical EQ. It will add its own color, which is cool because I can apply two different EQs to the mid and the side. And what I wanted to do here by EQing the mid and the side sections differently was the pads, the sub and the kick of my track were clashing a bit on the side of the soundstage, which wasn't creating the kind of, or rather it wasn't enhancing the lush kind of spacey sound I was looking for. Let's give it a listen and you'll hear what I mean.
Come a little bit closer now, we don't care what it means. Take another step closer now, I bet you got the keys. I just wanna get it right. Let's fly off tonight. Always gotta see something. Usually you don't see the writing on the wall.
So you see the drum and the bass are very powerful, very punchy. They take up the entire space. But that's kind of exactly a bit of the problem too. I want them to sit more in the center and not take up that space on the sides too, which is why I'm using SiQ here kind of as a high pass, where I'm trying to carve out as much of the low as possible. Now this opens up the brightness on the sides. Now let's hear it with and without.
Come a little bit closer now, we don't care what it means. Take another step closer now, I bet you got the keys. I just wanna get it right. Let's fly off tonight. Always gotta say something. Usually you don't see the writing on the wall. I don't care, the night is calling. It's alright tonight, I know, I know. Baby, don't you go so fast, so fast. I don't mind if we get off track.
So yeah, I love how the harmonies of the vocals now, they stand out a lot more on the sides. The pads are kind of there too, the percussions that are playing around on the sides of the soundstage. They're all enhanced and it makes for a much brighter track. So yeah, there you have it. Those are your use cases for DimeMS.